Hey everybody, world's ugliest man here. Here to tell you the 12 steps of AA, NA, they're universal, but yeah, here are the 12 steps, okay? And a bit of a recap and some of my ideas on them. Let's start. 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continued to take personal inventory when we were wrong and promptly admitted it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Now, a lot of people think when, they do the steps and they're done. But the thing is that just like we're always going to be an addict, we're always going to be an alcoholic, and we're always going to have that temptation. We're always going to need the steps, right? We have to always understand, of course, the first one, that we are powerless over alcohol and we're powerless over drugs, and never forget that our lives become unmanageable, because the second we start having rosy thoughts about it, we'll be back into it, and that's really bad. You don't want that, so you always have to remember that when you use or when you drink, once again, your life will be unmanageable. You can't just handle it or have a couple, because once you start, there's no stop. Alright. Came to believe first power restores to sanity. You always have to come to believe that a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity. And that no matter what, when you're feeling insane, when you're feeling down, you know that you have that power, that you have God on your side, and God, of course, can restore you back to a state of sanity, a state where you feel good again, right? And let's go to number 4. Okay, the searching and fearless moral inventory. Now, you don't just make one moral inventory and are done with it. That's always updating. It's like software, right? The moral inventory changes from day to day. It adapts, it changes, right? We always have to, it's good every day to make a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself. What you've done good, what you've done bad, whatever. And of course, we're entirely ready to skip to 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Always pray. Pray every day for those defects, those things, those problems you have, those problems with your character, those things that are negative about yourself, as hard as they are to look at, and all the mental gymnastics we try to do to pretend that they're not there, they are. So even if you don't see them yourself, pray that God removes them, because we're not always right, and they're not always wrong. All right, and then made a list of all the persons we'd harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Now, every day, we're bound to step on somebody's toes. We're bound to hurt somebody. And, yeah, never forget that, make amends with people that piss you off, because chances are you piss them off too. So, life is forgiveness, and forgiveness is life. So, try and forgive others, and hopefully they'll forgive you too. And of course, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will and power to carry that out. And 12, having had a spiritual awakening. Now, a lot of people think you just have one big spiritual awakening. You're in church, you cry, you meditate, you see the universe. But here's the thing: spiritual growth is a lifelong thing. All right, now Abraham, Jacob, and all these people who like walk with God, they didn't just have one spiritual awakening. That like all through their lives, it was a relationship with God, that their spiritual growth grew day by day the more they learned. It's the same with us. That one spiritual awakening lasts a whole life. Every day is a new spiritual awakening. Every time we make conscious contact with God, we have the opportunity to awaken spiritually, and that spiritual growth is a big part of it. Always like, spiritual growth happens. We start in almost like a spiritual kindergarten, and we work our way up to like a spiritual university, and even then we're still students, we're never teachers, because God is the great teacher. And yeah, um, I hope this has been educational or interesting for you, and God bless and have a great weekend.